Tugu. She means so much to the team, so I think everybody's going to really rally around her and try to get her a win at her last home game here in Kalin Arena. So we'll see what happens.
Bailee Cotton going to tip it up, and Wyoming will control. Yeah, you mentioned just the experience the Tugu brings to this very young Falcons team that's got a lot ahead of them in their future.
And it's a lot of just mental and emotional how to handle those games, because when you're a freshman and sophomore and you play games against Army and Navy and bigger teams like Wyoming, you just know how to compose yourself and how you need to really control your emotions and control your energy so you don't waste it all in the first quarter.
I feel you, Tapia, going in there for that one. Air Force going to push. Riley Snyder just a little bit short. Wyoming will control.
But good job of Breanna Autry. Where she's really grown, I think, this year is in her passing game in transition. If we would have seen that probably in November, December, it would have been 10 feet above Riley Snyder, but she was really able to hit her in stride, and Riley Snyder just wasn't able to convert it there.
And we've seen recently, especially here at Kalin Arena, the Falcons really like to get out and push. When they get those rebounds, they're looking up. They're looking to push the tempo. So we get an early whistle here. Foul against Air Force.
And I think that's starting to be their team identity. They really want a high-pressure defense, force you into turnovers, and run. And you see pretty much anybody on the Air Force team, including Haley Jones, if she gets the rebound, she's going. She's not waiting for Breanna Autry or anybody else to outlet the pass. She is going. As you can see here, it's always helpful to have Breanna Autry have the ball in her hands because she can really push it ahead of the defense. And you see here she's making a better decision of slowing it down rather than forcing it when everybody's already down on the offensive end.
Yeah, she's definitely the floor general for the Falcons. That ball goes into Riley Snyder, establishing herself, and there's the first points for the Falcons from Riley Snyder off the right hand.
And what I've seen from the Falcons in the first couple of possessions, they're seeing what's open and hitting the open girl. They're not trying to force anything. They're not trying to run through plays and just look for the next option. They're seeing all the options at once and hitting the best shot possible.
Yeah, and spreading this Wyoming defense side to side as well when they can. Riley Snyder drug out there to try to block that three, but that goes in. That's the young lady we talked about in the open, Marta Gomez out of Spain. Just a fantastic three-point shooter in this league. She knocks down her first.
And I think if that was any other player in the league, that closeout would have been fine, but that was way too slow to close out on Gomez there. She needs to be on her hip as soon as she catches the ball. Riley Snyder there, still a good shot. Still got to get her legs underneath her. It's early on in the game, but you have to be very, very aggressive with Marta Gomez and force her into tougher shots, force her into pass the ball away because, as I said before, she's shooting over 51% for field goal percentage. So Riley Snyder needs to be a little more cognizant of who she's guarding.
Yeah, crazy numbers for Marta Gomez. Brings a ton of experience coming from Spain. A number of Spanish players on this University of Wyoming Cowgirls team. Air Force really trying to lock down the three-point line on defense now as Wyoming moving the ball side to side. Russ going to bring it into the lane with the right hand. Going to go a little bit long. A bit of pinball. Air Force will push. Needs a little bit of help. Wyoming forcing the turnover. Marta Gomez on the end there.
And that's where Air Force needs to recognize when their teammates are in trouble or struggling. Kalin Emmel right there was double teamed. Somebody should have immediately ran behind her, gone to an open passing lane, and they could have settled it down and set up an offensive play. But instead, they kind of thought she could kind of get herself out of it, didn't really hustle down. So I think that's one area where they do need to grow and recognize when teammates are in dire help.
Yeah, Bailee Cotton with her first points. Wyoming jump out to the quick 5-2 lead. Riley Snyder, as you said, just needing a little bit of help. She'll reset to the floor general. Look for that little give and go. Wyoming read that well. Marta Gomez going to push the pace.
In that last Air Force offensive possession was different from the previous ones because they telegraphed everything. Breanna Autry tried to mix it up with a ball screen, but then she immediately threw it to Emmel Conroe without even seeing what the defense was doing around her.
A long two, I believe that was from Autry. Just long iron. Marta Gomez will bring this up at her own pace for Wyoming. Bailee Cotton now, standout star in high school in the Denver area. Bailee Cotton. Wyoming working the ball well, and a nice layup in the end.
And what Wyoming has done in the past couple of possessions, they keep everybody high. Almost all 5 players are above the free throw line. So when they do drive on Air Force, it's very difficult for them to rotate and get to that help side. So I think Air Force just needs to sag off just a little bit on the help side. But then again, Wyoming's a fantastic three-point shooting team, so you really have to pick your poison.
Yeah, it creates a lot of space in behind Air Force when Wyoming does that, as you said, stacking the numbers around the three-point line. Air Force going to make a couple of quick changes here. Noelle Tome's going to check in for Itugbu, the senior. And Air Force will get us back underway under the Wyoming basket. Nice drive there. Good defense from Bailee Cotton.
A well-executed out-of-bounds play, though, because before when we've seen Air Force do those plays, they kind of just have to throw it in and then set up an offense from there. But they were able to get it in and get it to Kayla and Emmel, which the play was designed for. And unfortunately, she didn't get a good shot off, but it was a great job of getting to the end of the play and getting the ball to the player that you wanted to get it to.
Yeah, and a quick foul there going against Air Force. It's going to go against Jones, just getting hooked up with Bailee Cotton under the basket. It's going to be the first on Jones. She just checked into the game. Wyoming will restart here. Bailee Cotton trying to establish herself down low for Wyoming. And once again, just as you said, that ball is going to come out up top the three-point line. Wyoming going to reset their offense. Nice drive down the lane, off glass, just doesn't drop. Unlucky for Tapia there. Air Force will push. That ball out wide. Wyoming gets the rebound. Very frantic pace here. Wide open in the corner though for 3 is Rusk. Going to go long iron. Welcome back to Clune Arena. University of Wyoming Cowgirls jumping out to an early 9-2 lead against the United States Air Force Academy. Some nice lay-in that we got to see there. And Wyoming's been shooting well. Air Force just 1 for 6 from the field in the first quarter. So Marta Gomez going to control the ball. Wyoming going to try to, as you talked about, pull this Air Force defense out, try to create some space in behind, run their offense. Marta Gomez with a nice cut there and the finish.
And at this point in the season, I've said this over and over again, both teams are scouted very, very well. You can pinpoint who they're going to go to on which play because you have hours and hours of film, dozens of games. So I think, but at this point, it falls onto the Air Force players. All that entire defense was watching the play develop and did not react at all. They just kind of sat there and watched and said, oh, well, she's open now. What can we do? So when Emily Conroe was only 3 feet away, she could have easily slid over into that help side, stepped up and taken a charge on that drive. Yeah,
you saw a lot of heads turn, certainly, when that cut was made toward the basket. Breanna Autry there with the drive toward the basket, picks up the foul. That's the first foul against Wyoming. And Autry will shoot 2. So impressive for Air Force. And Breanna Autry, really, we talked about it, running the floor for the Falcons. Let's see if she can get the Air Force some points that they desperately need here, down 11-2 early on to the Cowgirls. First one a little strong.
And you see here, the Falcons are just off like a half a degree, half a step mentally because they have missed 2 or 3 layups, and you see here they've missed 2 free throws. So right there, that's 2 layups, 2 free throws, so that's 6 points right there. If they got 6 more points, they're right in this game. Very, very close, but they're just mentally lapsing. I don't know what they're worried about. Maybe it's the emotion of senior day or the fact that they're playing Wyoming, one of the best teams in the league. But they really need to settle down, focus on the little things, and score easy baskets and play solid defense.
Yeah, there was some good defense there off that miss from Gomez. Air Force Academy will push with Noelle Tomes. She'll work this ball back to Kalin Emmel. Try to run the offense for Air Force. A little disjointed by the Falcons so far. A lot of different plays being run, but here's Emmel. Nice turn to the left-hand side, and she gets that one to go.
A great execution, and luckily Kalin Emmel can create her own shot off of that, but there wasn't a solid screen set there. Everybody was rushing to their next spot, and Emily Conroe, she slipped the screen when it wasn't really there. They're not reading the defense. Now they're going back into their old habits that we saw early on in the season where they just run plays to run plays. They run through the motions to get to the end of the play so Kalin, Emmel, or whoever the play is designed for can get the ball, but they're really not looking to get each other open with each deliberate cut and screen.
Yeah, well, here's the lady we need the ball in the hands of, Breanna Autry. She'll start here. Air Force had that possession arrow after that tied up. Long three there. Goes off the side iron. Wyoming pushing fast.
And that was textbook 3-on-2 defense and offense. Unfortunately, the rest of the Air Force players could not make it back on time, but Breanna Autry and Emily Conroe reacted perfectly to that. Breanna Autry picked up the ball. Emily Conroe rotated when the ball was passed, but they just weren't able to drop back quick enough in transition.
Yeah, it was a nice breakout from Air Force. Might see another jump ball here, and we will. Possession, Air Force. Possession. Arrow. Going to go for Air Force. Actually, it's not. It's going to go for Wyoming. Excuse me. A couple of substitutions here. Marta Gomez going to get a bit of a break for Wyoming. Area vets bringing the ball up the floor for Wyoming, and a very quick whistle. Offensive foul. Bailee Cotton just trying to establish on the edge of the paint. Just push Jones out of the way. Referee saw that.
And Haley Jones plays fantastic post defense because she plays smart. She looks to outwork them, but never tries to outmuscle somebody if they're way bigger than her. And she never tries to use her speed against somebody who's way quicker than her. She always counters them, as we see almost a double team here on Riley Snyder. But she can always be relied upon to guard one of their best post players and force them into an offensive foul like that.
Yeah, it's a good call. She's a presence the Falcons really need down low. Riley Snyder will get this ball back in right in front of the University of Wyoming bench. Breanna Autry now top of the key. Looking for the entry pass, wasn't there. Shot clock, only 4 left. Got to go up from Autry. I thought Jones had the offensive rebound there. She'll go for it on the ground there. Great hustle from Jones. And the jump ball called. That's fantastic from the Air Force Academy.
And Haley Jones and Breanna Autry are people that the Air Force Academy can really rally behind because we thought, like you said, she had the rebound, but she kept going after it and wanted that ball back. And that's kind of the kind of drive that you need in players in order to win games like this and to stay in games like this. So they've really got to rally behind that. I like the move of putting Asana Tubu back in because she has very high energy and also very calm at the same time. So she looks very excited, but really knows what she's doing and can kind of calm everybody else down who's playing a little too excited.
Yeah, and a nice shot there. Noelle Tomes, that was just inside the three-point line. That's a 2 from Noelle Tomes, but the Academy really needed that bucket. Marta Gomez checked back in for the University of Wyoming. They've got a strong lineup out there, as usual. Ercevic's going to start that offense. It's going to get kicked back out. They're looking to get Marta Gomez involved, and here she is now.
And good job of Asana Tubu really pressuring her and forcing her into either passing it or driving it, which is something she does not want to do.
Yeah, and there were numbers behind the Tubu there, so as you said, good defense. Quick hands there from the Falcons. That ball's going to stay for the visiting University of Wyoming Cowgirls.
And this is the type of defensive possession that they need to string together throughout the game. Really high pressure, everybody's moving, everybody's communicating. Just like that, Asana Tubu, great tip and great defense. She recognized that she was fronting Gomez, and she knew that the lob pass was coming, was able to turn around and get a hand on it.
Yeah, it was great recognition by the Falcons there, knowing where the shot clock was, as you said, knowing where that ball was going to go. Here's Tubu on the offensive end, working that out. Riley Snyder now going to drive with the left hand, turn back to her right, and get that one to drop. Nice move by Riley Snyder.
And you see, this is, I personally think this is all stemming from the energy from Asana Tubu, Breanna Autry, and Haley Jones. They're bringing up the energy in good fundamental ways. And you can see here, we'll see if they can really get into help side and stop Wyoming from scoring on this possession.
Yeah, about 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock at the end of the first quarter here. Marta Gomez going to work that ball down underneath. Air Force, 2 hands on that, and a jump ball. The ball was thrown in quick to Rakovic.
And you see there, Breanna Autry easily could have sat there and watched, but she recognized, once again, Air Force is fronting their post, so they really need to have the help side. And she was right there, right as the ball was caught. Perfect timing, kind of baiting Wyoming into that lob pass and moving in right as the player was trying to catch it.
Yeah, just 8 seconds left on the shot clock there, but that ball's going to go to the Air Force after an offensive foul. Bit of a push off. I believe it was on Rakovic. So the Air Force Academy, they'll slow this one down. No shot clock needed here. Just 12 seconds left in the opening quarter at Clune Arena. Breanna Autry, directed offense, fade back. Gets that one to drop. Nice move there.
And good job of Breanna Autry.
Clune Arena Air Force, great end to that first quarter, cutting the Wyoming lead to just 3. 13-10, the Cowgirls lead. Ball's going to stay with the University of Wyoming right in front of us here, the commentary position, because the foul happened before. And Wyoming will work this in. Did a great job by the Air Force Academy to claw into that early lead. Looked like Wyoming could have really taken control of this game and gotten out, put some big daylight in between themselves and the Falcons, but the Air Force Academy was able to get back in it. Got a good second quarter on store here at Clune Arena. Bailee Cotton going to control this ball at top of the key. Bailee Cotton going for the long two. Good job there by the Air Force Academy. To get her position, earn the rebound. Ball goes over to Riley Snyder, and she'll just reset with Breanna Autry.
And Air Force has really improved in the transition game because now they're sprinting to their spots and getting set up to possibly do a high pick and roll as soon as they get down there. Before they're kind of jogging, hoping that Breanna Autry make a play, and great move by Riley Snyder in the key.
Yeah, wonderful move by Riley Snyder, fading to the left, shooting it with her right hand, getting that one to drop. Crowd really getting into it now here at Clune Arena. See if they can put the University of Wyoming under some pressure. Tapia going to control this ball. I like the ball movement from the University of Wyoming. It touches almost everyone's hands on all of their offensive possessions as that's gone into Cotton, and she finishes well. A little bit of a head fake, waited for the jump, and just finished that with a kiss off the glass, but a good job there.
And once again, it's Air Force's lack of help side that is killing them right now on defense. Breanna Autry was there the last possession for the help side on the fronting of the post, and that last possession she was standing with her hands on her hips watching her teammates get scored on. So that is something you cannot do, especially against Wyoming, who has fantastic ball movement, and their posts really know how to work the front.
Yeah, as you said, way too much space for a player like Bailee Cotton. Quick off the inbounds there. That ball goes up and over. Bit of a smile on the face of Kalin Emmel.
And you can visibly see the frustration on Kalin Emmel's face right now, and I think that's where she has a lot of growing to do. The really good players who are going through shooting slumps, they don't care. If you shoot it off the backboard, if you shoot an air ball, you just keep shooting. And your coaches will continue to tell you to keep shooting. So you can't show that frustration because then the opposing team really feeds off of that. So they're, I think, really going to try and target Kalin Emmel here on offense and defense. And you can see there that frustration has carried over to defense with a blatant foul, not a smart foul by Kalin Emmel on that play.
Arm going right across. You called it. Tapia going right after Kalin Emmel. He still had that rather nervous smile on her face. She's going to go across, have a little talk with Coach G. As Tapia is going to shoot two from the line.
And that unfortunately is the game of basketball. You're not going to be shooting 50% every single game. Not all your three-point shots are going to be falling. And Kalin Emmel does make some fantastic plays falling away from the basket, especially on the baseline. But sometimes those shots aren't going to fall, and you have to work through that. And I think here she really just needs to get out of her own head and take easy shots. If she can get herself her own layup and really get herself back into the game, or even get to the rim and try to get to the free throw line, I think that will really help her get out of her own head.
And Tapia made both free throws there after that foul. So we see Air Force going in there for the two. Bailee Cotton going to push for the University of Wyoming. Air Force doing their best to get numbers back. They've got 1-2. There was a good job there with a poke out by Emmel. Go straight to Itubu, and Emmel will bring the ball up for the Falcons. Emmel will just reset. Noelle Tomes, who's checked in, looking for the ball. Nice backdoor cut. Looked like a bit of a kick there, and that's exactly what the referee's going to call.
And it was a great backdoor cut. It should have been made a half a second earlier, and that would have been a clear untouched pass to Emily Conroe there, because it was just a little bit too slow, allowed the Wyoming defenders to react.
Yeah, Wyoming have done a nice job. You talked about in the first quarter, Air Force getting back on defense. Wyoming this whole game, they've really been keyed in on getting back on defense. Riley Snyder going for that long one. Catches a little bit of the glass, goes long, and that ball will go to Wyoming. Marta Gomez over there.
And Riley Snyder was a little bit off balance on that shot, but I think she was just trying to get herself back into the game. And I like how aggressively she's shooting, because Air Force needs one of those shooters who they can count on for 3, maybe even 4 3-pointers a game, because that can really make the difference down the road.
Yeah, Riley Snyder 3 of 6 right now from the field for the Falcons. As Wyoming will slow down their offense a little bit. Arievich Work that one over to Tapia. Tapia, so much experience coming from Barcelona. Bailee Cotton goes in for two there. Nice rebound there by Kaylin Emmel, though, and she'll push for the Falcons. Buid. Looks like she might have taken an extra step. Wasn't called. Wyoming got a girl open right under the basket. Thought it was a little bit strong, but it falls for Rusk.
And that's tough because they are so quick in transition. But going back to the previous defensive possession, Riley Snyder was the MVP of that possession because she recognized that the drive was going on, and she was there for that first step, that first help, and really distracted the player and did not allow them to score.
Yeah, nice jump shot from Kaylin Emmel. She needed that one to drop. You almost see her shoulders sigh with relief if that one went in. She needed that shot.
And that's a routine shot for Kaylin Emmel there. So that's exactly what you need because it's so frustrating when the shots that you constantly take over and over again in practice and all these games that don't fall, and I think that'll be another foul on Kaylin Emmel there.
Yeah, it will. Just colliding with Bailee Cotton. It was a nice look around the corner to find that backdoor cut by Bailee Cotton. This is a nice pass right there coming into your living rooms. Great job by the guys in the truck. And she just had to make that foul to prevent that easy two from Bailee Cotton, who was a standout player in Denver as a high schooler, all-defensive team last season in the Mountain West Conference, three-time letter winner in high school. She'll get her first free throw to drop. Air Force make a couple of substitutions. Jones going to come back in. Breanna Autry as well.
And Kaylin Emmel visibly frustrated, which on her part, it totally makes sense, but I think in 1 to 2 years, if this happens to her again, she'll know she can bounce back from it because she's going through it right now. And I think that's the frustrating thing to see with such really good young players is the older players were kind of scratch their heads and be like, why are you getting so frustrated? Why are you getting so down on yourself? But this is the first time in their college careers that this is happening to them. So they're figuring it out on their own. They may be stumbling now, but in the future, they're going to just let it roll off their shoulder and handle it with a little more grace and maturity.
And I like what Kaylin Emmel did. She took a bit of a walk down to the end of the bench. I thought she was going to place herself on the end of the bench as you see a walk there on Autry, but she didn't. She moved her way back in, sat right in amongst the coaches, right in the thick of it for the Air Force Academy Falcons over on the bench there. So that maybe shows that maturity is starting to kick in. She's starting to look at the future here as Wyoming restart under their basket.
And sometimes you need that time on the bench to kind of decompress, and because when you're out there, you're constantly thinking about the next play, constantly trying to figure out how you can get yourself back into the game and get yourself out of the shooting slump. But sometimes you just need to decompress, let the coaches talk to you, tell you it's going to be all right, get over it, get back out there, play your game.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I was just worried we were going to see a little bit of the LeBron James syndrome where she's way at the end of the bench. There's nobody close to her except maybe a trainer or two, as that's a nice finish in the end by Rusk. Air Force Academy going to push. They've got numbers. Here's Jones underneath. Goes in with the right hand, just too strong. Gets a rebound back with the left and misses that one as well. Unlucky there.
But fantastic run by Jones, not letting a made basket really slow down the Air Force team, just making that rim run all the way to the basket.
Yeah, and quick hands there from Noelle Tomes to pop that one free. She'll get this ball back. That doesn't have a lot of support, so she'll need to take this one in on her own. Falls back and kisses it off the glass for two. Great job.
And I like the aggressiveness in transition, but she needs her teammates to follow her up on that. Easily, Riley Snyder could have sprinted up and gone to the right side wing and spotted up for a three. And
back inside Clune Arena, the University of Wyoming Cowgirls holding on to a 6-point lead over the Air Force Academy Falcons. Just under 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Wyoming going to keep the ball here. They're going to inbounds. It's been a good first half so far here. The United States Air Force Academy. Air Force done a good job of limiting some of Wyoming stars. Extra step there. Travel going to be called on Rusk. This is a big possession here for Air Force.
Yes, and this game thus far has been really a game of runs. Air Force has had a couple of great defensive possessions followed by really good offensive possessions. Then they cool off, and Wyoming goes on a little bit of run. And that's kind of really the story of basketball. It's rare that you see complete slaughtering of teams and teams have just fantastic games. It ebbs and flows, and I think the Air Force players are learning how to deal with that and learning how to bounce back from those lows that they experience.
Yeah, Tucker, who had just checked into the game there, getting the quick two for Wyoming on that nice entry pass. As you said, though, ebbs and flows of this game and this sport. Really thought Wyoming could have run away with it early, but Air Force clawed their way back in, had a really nice run of their own to make this a good contest here as we head toward halftime. Nice up and under from Itugbug. called for the foul. She'll go to the line for 2. Tucker, who just got that basket on the other end, called for that foul.
And good read on Asana Tubu's part to really just take it to the basket. She realized the defense was collapsing in on her, but she didn't have any options to kick out to. So good job of really absorbing the contact and still getting the shot off.
Her first free throw goes a little long. It's great to see the respect that she got on senior day. Led out by her mom, Hannah. Coach G was there to greet them as always. Just the one senior on this Air Force Academy Falcons women's team this year. Very young team. We've talked about that. They're going to have a good future ahead of them. And Tubu 1 of 2 from the line. Air Force going to go over to slightly higher press. They'll back off as Wyoming's able to get that ball over half court. Bailee Cotton here. Looking for the cut. Bit of contact on Marta Gomez. No whistle from the referee.
And what's crucial here is they're in a 3-2 defense, but there's not any talk going on, which is so critical in a zone defense because sometimes you have no idea where the opposition is. You're just maintaining your area, but good job of Air Force of playing solid defense for 30 seconds and forcing Wyoming to an unusual shot clock violation.
Yeah, that just didn't know where they were, Wyoming there. That ball coming back out when it had to go up toward the basket. As you said, shot clock violation.
And I think that's going to be a crucial part of Air Force's identity in the next couple games and moving forward next season is really switching it up on defense, keeping the offense on their heels, trying to figure out what kind of defense Air Force is doing, but they always do it with a lot of pressure, so they have no time to sit there and think and really process what's going on when they're on offense.
It was Emily Conroe being blocked there after the nice pass from Buid, who had hit the deck, able to feed that ball in. Wyoming, once again, we see them in this position so often, rotating their players out to the top of the key, cutting, moving in behind, trying to create that space in behind that Falcon defense. Nice drive there and a nice strong finish off the left hand from Weidman.
And Emily Conroe she was kind of there for the help side, but she really should have slid to the spot where the player was going and met her there, and then she could have at least altered the shot instead of just putting her hands up, avoiding the foul, and allowing an open shot for Wyoming.
And it was a nice finish by Quinn Weidman, 4-time letter winner in high school, as well as her team captain, Nebraska Girls Player of the Year. Just 4 left on the shot clock here for the Falcons. This ball's got to go up quickly. It's got to go up now. And that shot clock's going to run out.
And the rest of the Air Force team just watched Emily Conroe kind of force her way into the key. They just sat there and watched. There was no talk, no movement. So all of Wyoming could just sit there and guard her. They didn't have to guard anybody else. They could all guard Emily Conroe. And I think that's where they really, really need to improve is just improvising. They do really well in set plays, and they can work through it and kind of improvise from there. But when it really is coming down to the end of the shot clock, they really need to react. And great job of Noelle Tomes. Beautiful defense, drawing the offensive foul there.
Yeah, drawing the foul on Taylor Rusk out of Thunder Ridge High School, just leaning in there. Good job there as we see the replay. 4-time letter winner up at Thunder Ridge, just up the road. As a senior, she won the 5A state championship, beating my former high school along the way. Just forget about that. Breanna Autry running the point for the Falcons now.
So that play that they just ran there is a simple misdirection. So Breanna Acho uses a high ball screen, but they're really designing it for Noelle Tones to come off the double down screen. But Breanna Acho didn't fool anybody. She just kind of dribbled over to the wing, stood there, and was like, oh, Noelle's now open, or at least she's coming off the screen. She really tried to drive it off to the right and then come back and really force the defense to go with her and forget about Noelle Tomes. And if they set good screens, she can get a wide open 3 on that play.
And a travel called against Rusk in that last possession. So Breanna Autry will bring the ball forward now for the Air Force Academy Falcons.
And they're going to run the same play again. So she really needs to come off hard here, and they're going to swing it over. So as you can see there, nobody's really occupying the defense. They're just getting ready for the next pass and forcing Breanna Autry to go one-on-one with under 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, just 1 minute left in this first half. That ball short. Wyoming pushing, looking for Bailee Cotton, perhaps a little bit too fast. Nice job by Riley Snyder to come over and pick the pocket and bring this ball forward for the Air Force Academy. Good hustle there from Snyder. Breanna Autry calling for the ball. She'll slow things down now. 20-second differential. Shot clock, game clock. Autry will give that one off to Itugbu, the senior. And off to Snyder. Just looking for an opening, but Wyoming so active defensively. That's going to be short. And an easy rebound in the end for the University of Wyoming.
And this defensive possession is huge because if they can keep it under 10 points going into half, that is a world of difference between 9 points and 11 points. And good job at Air Force really forcing Wyoming. I think that's their third or fourth 8 seconds left that gives Breanna Autry in the Air Force offense in general plenty of time to set up a play. And I think they should go back to that misdirection. Breanna Autry drives to the right, and Noelle Tums come off, or maybe even Riley Snyder come off the double down screen.
Yeah, Riley Snyder, that's who I was thinking. Could get Jones involved as well if she can establish herself down low. She's trying to do that right now. Just 5 seconds left, and here is Snyder. She's going to go for the long two.
They know what kind of team they are, so they can come out and just score and play solid defense, whereas Air Force really needs to come out with a lot of energy, but not too much because they can't overexpend it all within the first 30 seconds of this quarter here, and then really just have no energy left for the rest of the game.
Yeah, a ton of experience for this University of Wyoming team. Even some of the players who are underclassmen, they've played professionally or semi-professionally in Europe before coming over to the University of Wyoming. So a ton of experience for these ladies in burnt yellow and brown. Air Force high press there from Kalin Emmel. Bailee Cotton looking for some help. She's going to get it from Marta Gomez. Ball's going to be worked across. Bit of an awkward shot there. See what the referees blow. Saying Air Force stepped out of bounds. That's unlucky. It's a bit of a wild shot up there from Tapia that didn't get to go.
And it just kind of landed in Breanna Autry's hands, and it looked like a little bit of a push-off as she was going up, but I think it may have been her momentum as she was driving and kind of falling at the same time. But that was a great defensive possession on Air Force's part because Emily Conroe, she was able to slide with her girl. Venesagan Utubu immediately closes out on Gomez and really, really frustrates her. I mean, there's nothing worse as a shooter than somebody being in your face constantly, and you just have no room to breathe, no room to get any type of shot off. And Gomez is not the type of player to really go off the dribble and go one-on-one. She looks for her teammates to draw attention away from her and then immediately shoot the ball when she gets
Gaining their 6-point lead over the United States Air Force Academy. We'll see if Wyoming can get the ball in this time. Now it'll be area vets to try to get this one in after Rusk was forced into the timeout. Good defense once again by Air Force. And they'll cause the turnover. They'll push here for Breanna Autry. Just reset their offense. Autry, as always, the field general, point guard with the ball. Itubu looking to establish some position down low. Riley Snyder looking for that backdoor cut to Kalin Emmel. Great pass by Riley Snyder.
And that's what I was talking about, that misdirection. Everybody's kind of thinking, oh, it's going to go over to the left side. Breanna Autry's jogging through, but great screen by Venesagan Itubu to really get Kalin Emmel open, and good job of Riley Snyder not staring it down and hitting Kalin Emmel when she was open.
Yeah, it was such a nice pass. Brought that ball back all the way behind her head and found the pass. Air Force a little bit late there with the help defense as that lay-in goes in for Rusk.
And it's interesting because Air Force has great vision on offense, but they get kind of tunnel vision on defense, especially when they're playing man-to-man. They're just focused on where their girl's going at. They're not focused on the floor in general, and that's kind of a skill you develop over time. As Kalin Emmel throws up a three, it was pretty close. I like that shot, but yeah, Air Force really, really needs to see the bigger picture on defense and see where the ball's at, see where their girl's at, and see when they need to be in help side and when they need to pressure the ball.
Yeah, you can actually almost read the minds of some of the Air Force Academy players when they're getting doubled up on defense. They just don't know which girl to go with. Sometimes that leads to some open lanes for the University of Wyoming. That was some good defense right there, though. Now Autry will push for the Falcons, looking for some help from Riley Snyder as that ball just got tipped away before it reached the young freshman Snyder.
And where Air Force, they have improved a lot in their transition, but where they can really, really work on is recognizing when their teammates are driving and when they should cut. Because you see a lot of times Breanna Autry or maybe even Kalin Emmel is driving to the basket in transition, then somebody cuts right in front of them, and they may be slightly open, but if they just stayed back, they could open up the lane for that drive-in transition and give them a better opportunity to score.
And it was a good rebound from Snyder, averaging 11 points a game this season. Riley Snyder, she's got the ball now. Drops that one off to Emily Conroe. Just a little bit loose with their passing once again. Now Marta Gomez will bring that ball forward, but a great job by Venesagan Itubu, and Air Force have got a 2-on-1. Riley Snyder waits for the pass. Breanna Autry perhaps waited just a little bit too long there. Needed to draw that defender into her a little bit more before she made that pass out to Autry.
And Riley Snyder made up her mind, I think, right before the three-point line that she was going to make that pass. And I think you could see it, and the defender could kind of feel it. You know what they're going to do because you always kind of play the pass in that situation. And she wasn't going fast enough, and Breanna Autry was just kind of waiting for her. So I think if she would have made that pass just 1 to 2 dribbles earlier, Breanna Autry could have converted that layup.
And Haley Jones checking in for the Air Force Academy. Riley Snyder going strong with the left hand, just a little bit too strong there. Bailee Cotton pulls down the rebound. Wyoming will bring this ball up at their own speed. It's Tapia now with the ball on the far side of the court. Going to get work back out. Here's Bailee Cotton, high school star from Denver. University of Wyoming did a good job getting her out of Colorado. Here she is once again. Air Force with some good defense. Riley Snyder, both hands up, making it difficult. That's going to be well short. Riley Snyder with the rebound, and Air Force Academy will push with Autry.
And great vision by Haley Jones there to kind of just stick her hand in there and kind of disrupt what was going on there in the key, but not losing sight of her girl. She did a good job of making sure she can see both, and that's something that you learn pretty much on your first day of basketball. You learn to see the ball and your girl, so she was able to multitask there and really help Riley Snyder out on the defensive end.
Yeah, Ariavid's called for the foul on the floor. There, Air Force will put this ball in through Autry. Goes out to Jones. She'll give it off to the senior, the lone senior on this Falcon team, Benesana Itugbu. Great to see her honored before the game. Nice move there from Kayla and Emmel, and then there comes the SWAT team from Bailee Cotton, not having any of it.
And that's what I was saying earlier about being scouted. So Kayla and Emmel, I've seen her make that move multiple times, and it is a fantastic move. Great job of reading the defense and stepping through, but the Wyoming defense, great job of listening to the coaches, reading the scout, and recognizing that and coming over for the shot block there.
Yeah, and right after her shot block, Bailee Cotton goes up the other end of the field, gets the hoop and the harm. She'll go to the line for one after getting that to drop. Air Force going to make a Wyoming going to make a substitution. Quinn Weidman coming in. Bailee Cotton going to shoot one now at the line. It's a strong play from her. It was a good block on the other end, as you said, and she comes all the way up the other end. And she misses on that, but got the 2 points, obviously, from the shot. As Autry now waving off Riley Snyder, who was making a late backdoor cut there on the far side of the court.
And that's another good decision by her. I think earlier in the season she would have made that pass, or at least attempted to, but she recognized it wasn't the right time and really decided to set up the offense.
Yeah, she's going to drive it herself, go long. Haley Jones with the rebound, kicks it back out to Itugbu. Thought about the shot, drives it in herself, goes with the right hand. Went with the opposite hand there, a bit awkward to try to scoop that one up and in. And it just catches the short rim as Wyoming's open for three, but that's going to be well short. Itugbu on the rebound. Game getting a little bit stretched now.
Oof. Breanna Autry got away with the travel there, but hey, if the whistle doesn't blow, take it, keep rolling with it.
Yep, no travel if the whistle doesn't go, as you said. You could actually see her face when she pulled that trail leg. Her eyebrows went well up. She knew she was just waiting for that whistle, but it didn't come. Haley Jones hits the deck there. We'll see what the call is. It is going to be a foul. Blocking foul on Haley Jones. In this sport in general, the Air Force Academy, they need to force some turnovers. They need to increase that shooting percentage right now, just 10 of 36 from the field. Yeah,
and they're shooting so far in this quarter. They are 1 for 8, so they really need to settle it down. They've taken a couple of good shots, but it seems like Wyoming has really stepped up their defense and forced Air Force out of their comfort zone and into things that they do not want to do.
Yeah, Bailee Cotton just trying to improve her shot by stepping in there. Perhaps should have taken that three. Kalin Emmel's going to push this one now for the Air Force Academy. She's going to reset the offense with Breanna Autry. So composed out there, Autry. Really excited to see what she has going forward in her career with Air Force. Nice little crossover there from Emmel. It's going to finish strong with the right hand off the glass. Air Force really needed that shot, and so did Kalin Emmel.
And she recognized that, and Kalin Emmel was their go-to player last year, and she still is their go-to player this year. Granted, she's a lot of the scoring stress has been relieved from her with Riley Snyder and Breanna Autry. But I think and Coach G has always made the right decision. When you're in a bind, you go to Kalin Emmel because she is so good one-on-one, and she can really take a circus shot and make it just look like a routine pull-up jumper.
Yeah, she's quite the athlete. High school lettered in soccer and basketball. 6A state title for Southridge High School. Had 12 points earlier this year against Wyoming.
And beautiful kiss off the glass there. She does a great job of working the angle, so even as she's falling away, she can just throw it up and just kiss it off the glass, and it'll go right in.
And it was a nice crossover to get her some space earlier, too. Here she is again. Try to create her own shot. Hits the spin cycle, drops it off to Haley Jones. Goes strong with the right hand, and the foul. Possible three-point play coming up there for the Air Force Academy. See that big smile on Haley Jones' face. That was a great move. Look at this strong right hand from Haley Jones.
And that was created by Kalin Emmel because she was drawing the attention of the defense. And this is where all the Air Force players need to recognize this because they're all a threat. Riley Snyder can shoot. Vanessa Tubu can drive. Same with Haley Jones. Haley Jones has a fantastic outside shot and great rebound by Vanessa Tubu there. But if you really occupy the defense, draw just a little bit of attention away, you're going to open up the shot for your teammate who's getting the pass right after you or even 2-3 passes down the road.
And that was a great rebound by this young lady right here, Vanessa Tubu. Going back door. Haley Jones getting held by the ankle there. Going to be a foul on the ground. Haley Jones once again establishing that position down low. See there that pass. Wasn't sure about that pass initially, but you can just see her being held there. A couple players on the ground for Wyoming. I believe that was Tapia. Got called for that one, and Air Force will get this ball back in. Just 3 minutes and change to go in this third quarter. Breanna Autry running the offense into Kaylin Emmel. Bit strong with the left hand. Might have been blocked up on the way.
But she read that screen correctly. Wyoming knew it was coming. They ran it earlier in this game, so they played for the screen. Kalin Emmel faked the screen, slipped it back to the left side, and was able to get open, but unable to finish.
Bailee Cotton now with the three. A little bit long. Good rebound by Haley Jones. Riley Snyder will push for the Falcons. Just going to slow it up a little bit for her teammates. Game getting a little bit stretched. See a couple hands on hips. Both sets of players. Haley Jones had a great couple last minutes for Haley Jones. It's a really strong finish that she had just a moment ago with her right hand. Riley Snyder now off to her left. Spin back to her right. Nice move up and under and in. Riley Snyder, beautifully done. Great fake. Great way to use the pivot foot.
And she remained calm when she was getting pressured on offense and just used her pivot foot, which is really a lost art in women's basketball, and was able to convert there. And a great block there by Vanessa Tubu.
Yeah, Breanna Autry pushing the pace. Doesn't get that one to fall. Air Force needed that basket. Crowd getting behind them. Tapia kicking that one out to the corner for three. Just a little bit too strong. And Air Force now has a chance to tie this game up or take the lead, depending on the shot. Great job by Air Force last couple minutes to hit some shots. Here's Kalin Emmel feeling the hot hand. She's going to go to her right. Doesn't get the hometown roll. Haley Jones going in for the rebound. Takes a little bit of a hand across the face. Wyoming and their coaching staff noticing this run from the Air Force Academy. 16-year head coach Joe Legursky going to make a couple changes. Air Force will do the same thing. Emily Conroe going to check in for the Falcons. Haley Jones will go out. Kalin Emmel as well. Great last couple minutes for both of those young ladies for the United States Air Force Academy. Just a 2-point lead now for Wyoming. Itugu trying to read that one, pick the pocket of Marta Gomez, unable to do so. Air Force getting back into their defense. Really see the defensive intensity turned up. Gomez for three, and she's got it.
And that's a freshman mistake made by Breanna Acho. You have to recognize when you're on the team's best player and on a player who's almost shooting 50% from the three-point line.
Yeah, Marta Gomez so good. Brings a ton of experience playing in Spain. In Catalonia, played for some high-level teams over there. Did a year of university at a public university in Barcelona before coming over to Laramie. Riley Snyder going with the left hand. That foul's going to be called on the floor. Just for a bit of a hold there as Riley Snyder was trying to establish herself just at the top of the paint. And Riley Snyder will go to the line. Good way for Air Force to get some points without that clock going down. Just 1 minute left in this third quarter. Here's Riley Snyder, as we talked about earlier, averaging 11 points a game this season. Got 12 tonight. And make it a baker's dozen for Riley Snyder. Fans really getting into this one as we tick down within 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Wyoming really been put under some pressure by this Falcons team last few minutes here at Clune Arena. looking to run their offense, looking to get Marta Gomez more involved. Here she is now on the ball. Ball's going to be kicked out. Good block there by the senior Asana. He took with both hands, swatting that one away. And Air Force has got a golden chance here to tie this game up or cut this lead down to 1.
And Air Force doing a good job in that zone defense of really moving as one and communicating. So it wasn't like there was 5 people just occupying different areas of the floor. It was one unit forcing Wyoming into stuff that they do not want to do, putting pressure out on the three-point line, making them drive from the baseline and not having anybody move. And great, fantastic pull-up jumper by Breanna Autry.
Yeah, a little shimmy and a little shake before that one to create that space there. Wonderful from Breanna Autry to get that space. More good team defense there by Air Force. They're going to push and the clock's going to run out. But brilliant for the United States Air Force Academy. The crowd are behind them. Just a 1-point lead.
It's a game of runs, and we're forcing Wyoming to get really uncomfortable on the offensive end, and I think they just need to keep stepping up that pressure, make sure they don't leave anybody open along the three-point line, because that's an easy way for Wyoming to bust this game wide open.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Wyoming likes to run that offense around the three-point line. That one dumped in low. Wyoming able to get the second chance, but good defense there. Bailee Snyder coming over to help out with Emmel Conroe. Combination there for the Air Force Academy to keep that second shot from going in.
And you can see Wyoming is really playing towards Air Force going into transition because they don't have anybody really crashing the boards. They have 3 people back on defense to meet Air Force when they're running in transition. And I think that's a direct reflection of how fast of a player Breanna Autry can play in transition.
Yeah, I think you're right. Breanna Autry likes to push the pace. She can slow it down when she needs to. I think this crowd is just about ready to lift the roof off Coon Arena if Air Force are able to get the lead. Wyoming haven't been able to get too much on offense the last couple of minutes. They've made some substitutions. You see exactly what the visitors can do, trying to get this woman, Marta Gomez, more involved. Shot clock down to 5. It's got to go up. And it does, and there's a foul called. I believe that's going to be, it's going to be on Emmel Conroe. And that'll send University of Wyoming to the line. Area vets go to the line for 2.
And that's tough when you play defense for that long. It is so tiring and you're so focused. So it makes sense. It's not an excuse, but it makes sense that Emmel Conroe would make that foul. But she really has to focus, and that's when once you get under 10 seconds, you just have to. It has to be all mental. You block out all other pain and tiredness, and really focus on trying to get that shot clock violation.
Yeah, area vets hit 1 of 2 from the line there. Young lady out of Zagreb. Air Force Academy. Bailee Snyder hitting the deck. She's all right. Here's Kaylin Emmel. She's back in. Loves that little move there. Crossover, switch over to her left. Trying to go glass. Bank's not open. Wyoming, good job able to keep that ball in. And Wyoming will push the pace a little bit here with Rakovic.
Great pressure by Noelle Tomes. I think she does a fantastic job of that. Even though she got called for the foul, she really forces opposing players to work in order just to get to the three-point line, and that really exhausts them and pulls them out of their offense. So I love how she pressures 7, even 8 feet beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, I think maybe if anything she was a little bit unlucky to get called for that foul there. I didn't see much of a reaching, perhaps just a bit of a bump. And as Wyoming were trying to establish position, but reset the shot clock for the University of Wyoming. Here's their big Spanish star, Marta Gomez. She's been held very quiet by this Air Force Academy defense in the second half. As that ball goes back to the top of the key. Bailee Cotton trying to establish position. It's going to be an offensive foul against Bailee Cotton, just giving Kalin Emmel a bit of a push with her right arm.
Yeah, and good job of Kalin Emmel recognizing that. So Cotton right there was really trying to be more physical and use her size and her strength against Kalin Emmel, and she went with it and was able to draw the offensive foul.
The Air Force needed that turnover. Still just down 2. And Autry looks like maybe she thought about this one's going to go up for 3. And she's got it. Kalin Emmel gives the Air Force Academy a 1-point lead. First time we've said that this afternoon. The crowd really getting into it now. Bailee Cotton isolated in the corner. Good defense there by the Air Force Academy Falcons. They've really got the crowd behind them now.
And good pressure here. They're really making it tough, even just to make a pass in your half court. And Bailee Snyder doing a good job of sliding with her.
It was a good block initially by Bailee Snyder. Bailee Cotton picking up the loose ends. That ball's going to go up. That's going to be well long. And shot clock violation. On top of that, just couldn't hear it with this crowd here at Clune Arena. Air Force Academy 35-34. They lead. Quick substitution here for the University of Wyoming. Tapia will come back in.
And I think Air Force needs to keep the pedal to the metal. They cannot relax. 7 minutes is a lifetime in basketball, especially when you're playing on the court. They need to keep being aggressive and keep playing like they're down that 6 or 7 points that they have been this entire game.
Yeah, Kayla Emmel. Emily Conroe, going to be called for the offensive foul there. On a Falcon hitting the deck. As we see there, Riley Snyder about ready to pull the trigger. And it certainly was Emily Conroe. Haley Jones going to check back in for the Falcons. She was really impressive in her last stint on the floor. Really helping out the defensive end. Clogging up the paint area, very active as well. Haley Jones. Wyoming really need to run their offense. Air Force so much more active on defense. We talked about a bit passive in the first half, watching a lot of things go by them, but in this second half, the Falcons have really turned up the volume to 11 on the defensive end. You're going to see an off-the-ball foul on a hold. Riley Snyder being called on the hold.
And I think here you're going to see Wyoming. They still have not panicked. I think they've been very frustrated throughout this game and throughout this quarter, but sometimes it takes really good teams a while just to get back into the rhythm and kind of almost wake up. And it's frustrating to see from a coaching standpoint. So you're thinking to yourself, wow, if you just would have played like this for the entirety of the game, we could have won by 20, 25 points. But, I mean, that's the game of basketball. You have to show up every game, every quarter, and be ready to play, or else, I mean, you have a situation like this where you're down 1 point to Air Force.
Yeah, we've almost seen this game flip on you. You talk about one game, one quarters. We see the ball go in there for 2 for Wyoming. But we've seen it almost flip on a couple of possessions where the Air Force Academy look like they're just letting the University of Wyoming Cowgirls get in behind them, and then suddenly something clicks. That switch goes on, and the Air Force Academy are active. They're moving. They're following their girl in behind the basket. So, as you said, really streaky game, really unpredictable this one. Don't know which one this way is going to go. Nice drive there, high off the right-hand side. Tough shot. Wyoming, Marta Gomez with the rebound. She's gonna slow it down.
And those aren't the kind of shots. It was a good drive by Noelle Tomes, but those aren't the kind of shots that got them back into the game. It's when they were executing so well, when they're setting solid screens, they're having misdirection. That's when they got Kalin Emmel open for the three, and then that's when Riley Snyder was open for the three. Unfortunately, it was an offensive foul call, but it's when they execute and really focus in on what each individual is doing on offense, and they're completing their job, completing their part of the play. They're getting their teammates open. Yeah,
Breanna Autry getting Bailee Cotton to pick up a foul. Bailee Cotton's got to be careful now. She started to pick up a couple of those. And Asana Tugbu bring this ball in to Breanna Autry, just picking up a couple extra seconds there before she touches the ball. Just over 5.5 minutes to go here on the campus of the United States Air Force Academy in snowy, chilly Colorado Springs, Colorado on this Saturday afternoon. Kalin Emmel going with a wild right-hand shot. Not a good shot there from Kalin Emmel. He wants a little bit of a better look there.
Yeah, and I think Air Force is playing as if time is winding down, as if there's under 2 minutes, minute and a half left in the game. There's 5 minutes left in the game. They can settle down, take the full 30 seconds, and get solid shot. Don't feel rushed to get back into the lead, just to give it up again, to get it back in the lead. So they really need to calm down and look at the long game here.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was good play from Haley Jones. She's been a real spark plug when she's been called off the bench by Coach G for the Air Force Academy. Breanna Autry going to take that and going to make that. All 3 of those. Air Force Academy jumping out to a 2-point lead there. Breanna Autry draining the long distance 3.
And you see all the assistants on the bench are like, that works, and she just wants to pull up 2-3 feet beyond the 3-point line and drain it.
Yeah, Air Force Academy up by 2. We're going to go to a timeout. You're watching Air Force Academy women's basketball on the Mountain Network on Stadium. Over the visiting University of Wyoming Cowgirls, we have just under 5 minutes left to go here at Clune Arena. Roland Vargas, Gene Parker with you on the Mountain West Network on Stadium. Wyoming at the line. Air Force clawing their way back into this game, finally jumping out and getting a lead. We'll see about these 2 free throws. First one there goes in. But what about the performance last few minutes by these Air Force Academy Falcons?
The energy is very, very high, and they're just really feeding off each other and working hard on defense. I think their defense is really fueling their offense. You can kind of see that they're physically being picked up from their defense, and it's just playing solid fundamental defense and really hustling after those rebounds, since Wyoming does not crash that many people on the offensive end.
Yeah, Marta Gomez missing her second there, but the ball staying with Wyoming before the senior on senior day. Asana Tubu coming over and swatting that ball away, and then just taking it and handing it off to Breanna Autry, who, as we saw, just drained that most recent three for Air Force. Air Force maintaining the lead. Nice backdoor pass into Tubu, and she finishes it with the right. Well done. What a great entry pass that was.
And good read by Air Force there. They've run that play about 5 or 6 times, always going to Kalin Emmel. So this is where they kind of rocked Wyoming to sleep, saying Kalin Emmel's going to take the shot. Kalin Emmel will take the shot. And then immediately you counter it. Venesani Tubu cuts to the basket and is able to score.
Yeah, nice drive in. Speaking of cutting to the basket by Wyoming. Unlucky, just needed a little bit more help defense. Rakovic there going in for the 2. Cutting that Air Force lead to just 1. What a game we have on hand here at Clune Arena. Breanna Autry falling back with the right hand, gets that one to go.
And that's
that lead to 3.
And that's another counter to the play. Haley Jones was starting to cut through there, starting to play. Breanna Autry recognized it and took it to the basket.
Yeah, Tapia leaves that layup a little bit short. Breanna Autry's going to push. In no mood to waste time here is Breanna Autry getting that ball down low. Noelle Tomes just going to reset that one at the behest of the coaching staff there on the far side of the field.
And you can see Breanna Autry asking for the ball back, saying, no, we're going to set it up. Nothing was there in transition. We'll figure something else out.
Yeah, unlucky there. Just dragging the foot was Noelle Tomes. Bailee Cotton going to check back in for the University of Wyoming Cowgirls. Riley Snyder as well for Air Force. Been very impressed with her this afternoon so far. Breanna Autry going to get a quick break.
And the Air Force coaching staff doing a good job taking Breanna Autry out and Haley Jones, giving them a quick breather, because 3 minutes still a decent amount of time, but they can go back in when the clock is inching more towards that 2-minute mark.
Yeah, Riley Snyder's going to need a little bit of help there down low. Needs a little bit of help defending Marta Gomez. Just too much for Marta Gomez there. She got that 2 to go. It's a good play by Wyoming, noticing that mismatch, getting that ball in quickly. Air Force still with a 1-point lead. Coach G taking a timeout for the United States Air Force Academy. We will do so with Bailee Cotton on the court as well. That's a lot of size for the University of Wyoming, so they have a couple pieces that they can interchange here. Air Force going to get this ball back out, as you said. Autry with the quick rest. She's back in there now for the United States Air Force Academy. She'll run point. Ball goes off to Kaylin Emmel. Riley Snyder taking over. Much more active now on defense for the University of Wyoming. They clearly got a talking to. Autry going to go to the basket. Just a little bit short on that one. Good job by Cotton with the rebound.
And that's why she got put back in the game. That's why Wyoming needs her. They need that toughness on the inside to go grab those rebounds, because Emily Conroe and Breanna Autry and pretty much every player on the Air Force team is tough. They will go after that ball, so they really need Cotton on the inside.
Yeah, there's Marta Gomez establishing herself at the three-point line. There's a 3 going up from the corner. Well long, kisses off the glass. Air Force will restart. Autry in no rush.
And now this game is starting to turn into a chess game between the coaches. This is where you slow it down, and this is where you pull out all the plays that you have in your back pocket. It's really designed to get a very specific shot that you know will be a high percentage shot for your team.
Yeah, Coach G on the far side of the field, moving her Falcons around. Autry, just 5 seconds on the shot clock, going to go for that long one. Off the side, well rebounded by Marta Gomez. We're just 90 seconds left here at Clune Arena. We'll get a timeout on the far side of the University of Wyoming. This ball's going to go in right in front of us here. Taylor Russ going to start that one up. And now Tapia for the University of Wyoming. As you said, they've clearly gotten something on the whiteboard that they're going to run here. Bailee Cotton bringing herself out to the three-point line, looking for the cut. It's just not happening. Very active defense by Itubu and a switch off at the top. Good defense, just 3 seconds on the shot clock, forcing the turnover there. Wonderful by the Air Force Academy. Great communication. You talked about that in the first half. You weren't hearing anything from this Air Force Academy Falcons team on defense, but you could clearly hear it there. Itubu was really pointing out where to go.
And they're all reacting to what Wyoming was doing, just making sure they're there for the next pass. And I think everybody, including myself, was kind of holding their breath in the arena, and then seeing that Wyoming kind of threw it away. They can really, really take control here if they run a solid play and execute it well.
Kalin Emmel strong with the right hand, and a good rebound as well. Air Force Academy maintaining possession. They're just going to look to reset this one, and the hands in by Bailee Cotton. That's a priceless foul on Emily Conroe. What a great rebound it was by Conroe under the basket. Try to reset that. I believe she'll go to the line. No, she won't. Excuse me. That ball will be taken out. Riley Snyder going to put this one back in for Air Force. Couple substitutions by the University of Wyoming. Cotton's going to come out after picking up another foul.
In Air Force still, this is where you have to, as a player, you almost have to play slower than you think you need to because you're so amped and there's not that much time left in the game. So you really have to be very deliberate in your movements.
Yeah. Great hands there by Tapia. Jump ball. That ball was put in cleanly to Autry from Snyder, but poked away by Tapia. We get a good look at it here. Just good hands there. It goes down. Both players fighting for the ball. Jump ball.
And this is going to be a very big test for Breanna Acho here because now I don't want to say Air Force is on their heels, but she still has to recognize that Wyoming is going to be coming after her. So she really has to protect the ball. Go back to all the fundamentals where you're in triple threat, always protecting and making nice solid passes, jump stopping, using your pivot foot, all those things that you learned years and years and years ago. She has to make sure that she's doing and recognize that that's what they're going to do. They're going for the foul. So if she can evade it, that's great, but really stay solid, take care of the ball when they're coming after her.
Yeah, no, you called it right there. It was a great job. Heads up play. Bring that ball out to the side, not risking getting that ball poked away. Picking up the foul. See here, referees don't call that one as an intentional foul, so Air Force will do it over again. That ball's going to go in. There's another foul. Quickly there, Emily Conroe picking up the ball that time. Good job by Air Force having a second option to pick up that inbounds.
And this is big for the Air Force team here because they have to knock down free throws. And in basketball is a game of mistakes. I mean, you can point at mistakes made in the fourth quarter and say this is the reason the game turned out the way it did, but it's a magnifying glass, and you don't have that much time after some of these plays to make up for these mistakes if you make them.
Yeah, that's huge to get the first one there. Emily Conroe leads in rebounds, six and a half rebounds per game in the Mountain West Conference so far this year. She needs these free throws more than she needs a board. Gets the second one as well. That's just huge for the United States Air Force Academy. Coach G and the entire Falcon bench pump. Presence of Asana Itugu out there. Really key to see her getting these minutes here laid down the stretch. Wyoming got to get this ball in. Riley Snyder going to put her under all kinds of pressure. Just a 5-second difference between shot and game clock. Drive to the basket, kick out. Marta Gomez for three. Long iron, and the rebound by Emily Conroe, and she's fouled. Huge there. Once again, great possession. Emily Conroe, good rebound. Knew the foul was coming in. She'll have to go down and shoot some more free throws.
And there's a lot of smiles going around Air Force right now, which is good. You need to have that confidence, but you also need to recognize it's only a 3-point game. There's 27 seconds left. So let's say Emily Conroe doesn't make either of those free throws. They go down, score 3, you're immediately tied, and now the pressure's back on you to score and take back that lead instead of maintaining it on the offensive end.
Yeah, and there certainly were some hearts and mouths when it was Marta Gomez that got that three. That first free throw is short from Emily Conroe, but Marta Gomez, not the player you want to leave open.
Right. Yeah.
For three for the Air Force Academy, but she missed that one. So, but it was a great take nothing away from the rebound. Great job by Emily Conroe to establish down low. Let's see if she can make this second one, and she can. That's huge for the Air Force Academy with the 4-point lead, 45-41.
And that's what they've been doing to Wyoming all night and that's pressuring them, forcing them to start their plays 4 to 5 feet beyond the 3-point line, because that will make a big difference. You see here, they're almost at half court, and that forces them to take a couple more seconds to get that shot off. And that's a tough shot guarded by Emily Conroe.
Yeah, Rakovic on the lay in there. It was good job, good defense by Emily Conroe, just very little.
So good job there, and we'll see if they can inbound it and then knock down some free throws.
Yeah, and you called it. Riley Snyder will be to inbound this ball. Same 5 out there for the Air Force Academy as it just was on defense. Looking for Kalin Emmel. She gets it, and she's fouled just inside half court. Good job by Emily.
And good job of Riley Snyder getting that ball in, because Kalin Emmel was not wide open, so she did a good job of just sneaking the ball in there, threading the needle, and Kaylin Emmel doing a good job of going and getting it and taking the foul well.
Yeah, she passed that ball into the space, let Emmel run onto it. Here she is for her first of 2. Gets that one. Gives Air Force the 3-point lead. Needs the second one to make it a 2-possession game, obviously. And gets the hometown roll.
Oh my God.
That hung on the front rim for an eternity there for Kaylin Emmel.
Everybody gassed in the stadium for that one.
A nice drive from Tapia. Finishes with the 2. That was a good, quick basket by the University of Wyoming. That's what they needed. Kaylin Emmel fouled again. It was Riley Snyder inbounding that ball. Kaylin Emmel's got a different smile on her face now than she did just a few moments ago. She's going to have to go down and hit a couple more free throws. You talked about it. That ball just hung on that front rim for ages and ages there before Wyoming went down and finished with the 2 from Tapia.
And I like what she was not. I think she was kind of hoping it. I think she just kind of blew it in. She just
pushing it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Here she is with the first. That one short as well. So still a 2-point lead for the Air Force Academy. That's all right. Just got to make sure no matter what they get back on defense. You talked about that. They've been much better at that in the second half. Organizing defensively. They need this second free throw here from Emmel. That one's long and left. Marta Gomez with the rebound.
And Air Force has to recognize here, Wyoming's going to go straight to the rim. They've done that 3 or 4 times. They have just brought the ball up very quickly and driven right to the right side. I think they're going to go to either Kaylin Emmel or Riley Snyder. They're going to go for Kaylin Emmel going one-on-one, creating her own shot, or a design play for Riley Snyder to take the 3.
See if they can get the ball in first. They do. It's Autry. Over to the right hand. She's going to float that one up. Just a little bit long. 0.3 left on the clock. Air Force had a good look there. So unlucky. Breanna Autry with the right hand, just a little bit too strong.
And I still think that was a good play. Breanna Autry recognizing she doesn't have enough time to even attempt to make a pass, so she just took it straight to the rim, gave Wyoming a taste of their own medicine. So all Air Force has to do here to force into overtime, let them get the ball in, don't let them go for a long pass.
Yeah, that's it. We have overtime here at Kuhn Arena, tied at 47. United States Air Force Academy and the University of Wyoming.
A walk out on the floor. You could not tell that they just barely made it into overtime, you know, with the last second shot here. They are so even keel. Nothing really rattles them, and I'm sure in their minds they're going crazy, but you just cannot tell, and they are so calm, cool, and collected. And I think it's gonna be tough. Air Force really has to work if they want to win this game in overtime.
Yeah, here's Breanna Autry picking up that ball top of the key. Same strong 5 for the Air Force Academy. Autry going for that one. Another difficult shot. Was just unable to get it to drop. It's a good hustle by Emily Conroe trying to get that rebound. She just couldn't do it. University of Wyoming. Arjevich with the ball. Now working it over to Rusk.
In overtime is always tough because you go from an intense end of the fourth quarter where you're constantly having to score with little time left on the clock, but then you go back into overtime where you have 5 minutes left where you don't have to force up shots. You can take the full 30 seconds. You can run plays all the way through instead of trying to just throw up rush shots.
Well, I agree with you. Long 3 going up there from Emmel. Emily Conroe hustling once again for the rebound, just unable to bring it under control. Tapia going to stroll this ball forward for Wyoming. We saw Marta Gomez getting that layup on the last possession for the Cowgirls. She's such a difficult, dangerous player. She's got size. She's got that touch from the outside as well. She could be the player that the University of Wyoming, here she is, goes to in this overtime period. Guarded by Asana Tugu. She's going to drive to the right hand, fade away, try to get that ball to fall. Tapia with the rebound. Once again, Wyoming just going to reset things, slow things down, work this clock a little bit here. Try to take some of the air out of this building. Kuhn Arena really been jumping the last couple minutes.
And that's exactly what we need to do. There's nothing worse than playing a full minute of defense. It is just exhausting. It gets boring at times. You just and to end it on a foul like that is so frustrating. I think Air Force needs to bring back that energy. Just pedal to the metal and really ram the ball down Wyoming's throat. Really force it down the floor, force them into a lot of pressure on defense as well. Force them to start their offense 6-7 feet beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, Clara Tapia makes her first. Young lady out of Barcelona, started all games as a sophomore and junior. Had an impressive career in Catalonia, in Barcelona, before moving over to Laramie. She'll go here for her second. But I agree with you about Air Force trying to turn it up. It's just difficult when Wyoming's doing such a good job to possess the ball, really wind things down, take control on the offensive end, and defensively, we've certainly seen them in this overtime period. They've been very active defensively, have the visitors from Laramie.
Yeah, and that's how you counter a high up-tempo offense and defense. You slow it down. You're deliberate. You force them to play good fundamental defense rather than getting rattled by their pressure and throwing the ball away. You force them to play that defense for a very, very long time, which, frankly, Air Force and any other team does not want to do. You don't want to play defense longer than 20 seconds.
Yeah, Riley Snyder earning her way to the free throw line. She'll go there for two. It's a strong move toward the basket. She averages 12 a game. She's got more, going to go for more than that here. Got her first. Good job by Snyder. 13 points, 5 of 10 from the floor. Perfect from the free throw stripe so far tonight. Wyoming making a substitution.
So yeah, I don't know if they'll count that free throw because you have to give when somebody fouls out, you have to give the opposing team time to sub in. So we'll see if they kind of give her that free throw. But I mean, it's not any fault of Riley Snyder. If I was her, I'd be.
They gave her the ball.
Yeah, I'd be
livid. To get on with it. Yep, she did just that. Referee's just going to explain it to Coach G, who's not exactly thrilled. You're 100% right. So Riley just needs to reset.
And Riley just looks like she doesn't care. She's just give me the ball, I'll shoot it. And that's the kind of confidence you need from a player. It's like, no matter how many times you give me the ball, if you take it away, I'll keep shooting, I'll keep knocking down free throws.
And that's exactly what she does. Really needed that first one there. Just a 3-point lead now for the University of Wyoming. My math tells me it can be cut to 2 if this one goes in. And it can. That's great from Riley Snyder. Really mature performance at the line so far tonight. Tapia, she's been called on to bring this ball up. Good pressure defense from Autry. Tapia able to break that. Air Force will just back off. Marta Gomez now in the corner for the Cowgirls. Working that ball.
And they're looking to go right. It's going to be a right-handed drive, right to the right side block, and they're going to go for the shot.
Got a bit of a piece of it on the way, did Breanna Autry, but just couldn't stop that one from going down. You called it 100% perfectly. That's exactly what we saw there. Rakovic taking that one strong to the rack and getting that ball to drop, re-establishing that 4-point lead for the University of Wyoming. 2 points to go now in overtime.
And that's
2 minutes to go, excuse me.
And that's the exact shot that got Wyoming to tie up the game. I mean, they've been doing that for the past, 6-7 minutes, including regulation. So Air Force players really need to lock down and focus and know that that's what Wyoming's going to do when there's under 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah, and that's a huge shot from Tapia. It was Kayla Emmel who had gotten that last one for Air Force. And Tapia came right back. I thought maybe her bench wanted her to take a little bit more off the shot clock before she went up with that jumper, but everything goes out the window when you're able to drain them like that.
Yeah.
Air Force trying to get Riley Snyder involved. She thought about the three.
Yeah, she was about to shoot it there, but made the right decision to continue the play.
Yeah, she did. She would have had a couple of hands in her face there. This ball goes into Jones, drives hard with the right hand, uses the glass and in. Great finish from Haley Jones. Wonderful play. Strong and composed from Haley Jones. We tick down inside a minute to go here in overtime at Clune Arena. That ball goes into Gomez.
Beautifully designed play on Wyoming's part. They recognized that they had the lob. They just cleared out the weak side and threw it in there for Gomez.
That's as close as you're going to see with that ball rimming out. So unlucky for Noelle Tomes not to see that three drop. Once again, everybody's hearts hung in their mouths there with that one just not falling for Air Force. We've got to see if they can get a turnover here. Don't want to foul. Noelle Tomes being pushed out on Marta Gomez. It's been so dangerous, that ball going into the corner. More good defense from Air Force. They just desperately need this ball back. That one rims out. That's exactly what the Air Force Academy needed. 10 seconds left now. They got to push it with Riley Snyder.
But they have to take a smart shot, and that was good decision by Riley Snyder.
And
Great decision.
Kalin Emmel draining the three there. So just a 1 point lead now for the University of Wyoming. What a sequence we saw there. Drops that one off trailer. Kalin Emmel, nothing but net. Great shot.
And great decision by Riley Snyder, not really forcing up the shot. And that's a situation where it's easy for players to get.
Marta Gomez is going to go to the line.
And it's this point of the game where the coaching really takes over. In most of the game, for the large majority of the game, it's the players. It's on the players to really make all the right decisions and make sure they're executing correctly. But now it's a chess match, as I was saying earlier, and you have to execute it because these plays are so specific and these plans are so specific. If you do not follow them, it will mess everything up. So everybody has to be keyed in, listening in the timeouts, and ready to execute on command.
Yeah, very calm and cool, collected there from Marta Gomez. Knocked those two down. Snyder to inbound this ball. Referee just telling her about the count. Haley Jones out there, perhaps making a screen. She'll do that. Ball goes into the corner to Kalin Emmel. She jacks up that one up. It's going to be long. And the Air Force Academy is going to fall to the University of Wyoming. 59-53 in overtime here. It was a fantastic job by the Falcons to get themselves back into this game, even take it to overtime.